Okay. What we have here, because if you've been watching me for a while, or have downloaded any of my patterns, I've got some free ones over on Etsy, and then I've got some for sale on my website. So if you've ever come in contact with some of my patterns or other tutorials on YouTube, you kind of already know how to stitch and stuff these. This is not difficult stuff. But this type of foot is a different one for me. And you can see here, I've got this one stuffed, and I've got some, this is one that I've placed some cardboard into the bottom. It's not, I'm not sure if it's, I think it's quite long enough. I'm not sure. I just kind of have to mash this around a little bit. But it's 2 pieces with a 3rd piece on the bottom where, where this little toe pad or little pad will go. And then I'm going to do some toe stitches here and some other little things here. I think I want to do these a little differently than I have in the past, because I just want to do it differently. I get kind of bored. I kind of like doing the same thing again and again in different versions, but then sometimes you get to the point where you're bored and you want to try something new. So these are a little bit more involved than these. So basically all that I do is I start at one end or the other, and I stitch around the outside and leave this part open. And again, you've heard me say this probably. It's like you could like take a shot every time you hear me say, hey, felt moves around. Because yeah, it does move around. I tend to cut some pieces a little bit bigger. These are one of them. I had to trim like maybe 2 millimeters off the end of this one, and I don't like how that points a little bit. It's going to bug me, so I'm just going to nip it off a little bit. And then this just gets sewn into the bottom hole, and you can see it doesn't look like it fits, but it will fit. And what I did with this one over here was I'm like, well, my natural inclination is to start at the back and go around. And I'm like, why don't I start at the front? So I started at the front, and then I realized that's the reason I start at the back and go around. And because it's harder to get this end part stuffed, and it's also harder to get this little piece of cardboard in there. Now, this isn't just, I mean, this is cardboard. It's actually 2 pieces of cardboard that I glued together. You can kind of see. I think, what was this? I think it was an ice cream something or other. I glue it so the white shows on the outside, and I think I used like I used a wood glue, a fast drying wood glue on the inside of this, and I just glued the 2 shiny sides together. The reason I do that is because I don't want to see anything through this. If this is white, all it's going to show is white. If I cut the piece and then there's black underneath here, or a darker color, or a different color like a green or something, it may show through. So to negate that, I just always do white sides together. And once I've made one, I just trace them out, cut them out by hand. And that's another way of making sure that I get everything stuffed the way that I want it, if that makes sense, is because this, you can see here, this is the piece that's going to go in here. You can kind of see that right there. And like I said, it's not, this isn't hard work. This is pretty easy stuff. This is just starting at one corner and sewing all the way around.